How to convince your parents to let you pursue your dreams and your purpose. Hi, welcome to this video. I'm Brother Jumesi from Wisdom for Dominion, where we bring you kingdom principles for leading an effective life. This video is dedicated to all our students who have taken part in any of our trainings or purpose development class. And I appreciate also all our friends worldwide. And I think wherever you are, you certainly can relate to the subject of this video, especially if you have clicked it to watch it. So without any further ado, let's get in right there. How do you convince your parents to let you pursue your dreams and your purpose? Time and again, we get this question when we're talking about discovering your purpose and actually taking the bold steps to actually pursue it. Oftentimes, people say, I'm under authority, I have this parent or guardian, and they want me to do this or they want me to do that. So how do I convince them to let me do what I want to do? Because I am forced to do what they want me to do because somehow I'm dependent on them and I need the resources that they're offering me to be able to live or something like that. Though this parental attitude of what we can call in quotes control is common everywhere, but I believe it's very typical in a context like Africa or developing nations where the culture places a lot of emphasis on respect for authority and especially respect for your parents. In several African cultures, the voice of your parents is synonymous to the voice of God. As good as that could be, it could eventually become as bad too. Your parents sure need to guide you and bring you up in the way of the Lord, but also they need to know when you have been brought up in the way of the Lord that you can actually take off with your own wings and fly also. And that's where the problem is with most parents. Realizing that this child has grown up and they are no longer the little boy or the little girl that you had and you catered for and you met all their needs, but they have grown into a young woman, a young man, and who can actually take decisions for themselves and be ready to take responsibility for the consequences. And this is not to point fingers at parents because it's completely natural and you will eventually also be a parent tomorrow, probably. So it's a natural instinct where parents say they are just looking after you. They just want the best for you. So they protected you and now they still feel a need to protect. So it's very difficult to just release their hands and let the bird, which has now developed its own wings, fly by itself. But what can you do about it? You have to be able to communicate clearly to your parents maturity and an ability to take responsibility right now. Remember, for the most part, their actions are driven by an excess love to protect and also a fear that you may not be able to make the right choices. So you communicate that you're mature and you're no longer the little baby, the new, but you have grown and you're mature, and also you communicate responsibility, that you understand what is at stake and you understand the choices you're making and how they are going to affect your life. Of course, this is easier said than done, and I know that, but if you understand clearly what I'm telling you, then with time, it'll be very easy for you to be implemented. So if someone is withholding you because of fear, your objective is to help them get rid of that fear, meaning that you bring them assurance. And assurance only comes with understanding. We fear or are worried about whatsoever we are not clear about. And so if an investment opportunity shows up to you and the details are blurred, you kind of get worried and you don't really have an assurance to put your investment in that. So you're actually asking your parents to invest their confidence in your dream, in your vision, in your purpose for your life, which you have discovered and you really want to pursue beyond everything else. So what distinguishes a little baby from a now grown-up young adult is their ability to take responsibility, is their maturity in how they carry themselves, and it's their expression of consciousness of what is taking place around them. Imagine spending all day playing video games. Your room is scattered and nothing is in place. You've not even brushed since morning. You've not showered in 3 days. And then you're trying to convince your parents to let you go to college and live in a room by yourself. Automatically, when they look at you, they see that you're not mature enough, you're not taking responsibility about your environment, you're not even conscious about your environment. So they are wondering, would this kid not go and burn somebody's house? But if you invert that picture and they see you actually play your video games for 1 or 2 hours, and then you really stop, and then you come and tell them, oh, how can I help you? What can I do for you? And then you take responsibility, you do it, you put your place in order, and beyond your place, you put the house in order. So you're showing that you're no longer a child, you're able to contribute also as an adult. So they don't look at you again from a top-down perspective, looking down at a child, but they're able to look at you from a lateral perspective as an equal. So when you speak, they see it as an equal talking to them, and that way they are more open and receptive to consider the options that you're giving to them. Like everything concerning investment where there is risks, you must be clear about what you're inviting them to invest on. When they have questions, you should have very clear and acceptable answers. When you say, I don't know, or I'll figure it out on the way, it's kind of, even you yourself, you don't want to put your investment in those kind of ventures. And besides, somehow it's not just about you, If you do fail, the failure doesn't end on you. So they're thinking about themselves, and society is going to see them as a failure because their children failed. So there is really a lot at stake, and their behavior is understandable to an extent, but you have the responsibility now to win them overboard into your purpose and dreams project. Well, personally, my experience was not very different, because you don't spend 4 years invested in your life to have an engineering degree and then you come out and say you want to be a public speaker on purpose, To an African parent, the title doesn't have the kind of panache as the title engineer or doctor. Eventually, I had to figure out ways to prove my responsibility, especially when it comes to finance, and I shared that in my last video, cutting the umbilical cord. You can check the link up there in the card. Many have done it, and you too can do it. You first have to change, not them. Once you change, you'll be able to change them. Don't let anyone ruin or cause you to abort your dreams. And before I go, I'm going to leave you with the words of the villain in the Pixar animated movie Ernesto de la Cruz, and he says, you have to have faith in your dreams. No one is going to hand it to you. It's up to you to reach out for that dream, grab it tight, and make it come true. That's our time in this video. I'd like to know what you think about this topic. If you too ever had challenges convincing your parents or authority, please share with us the strategy you use in the comments below. And if you like this video, give it a thumbs up, and please share it with 1 or 2 friends. If you're new here, please subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss our next video. I can't go out without saying a big thank you to all our Patreons, and thank you so much for your support that helps us do what we do. And if you like to support this channel, Wisdom for Dominion, please check the link to our Patreon page in the video description below. Thank you so much for watching, and see you in our next video.